Hi everybody. It's Saturday, December 2nd, and I think I may have mentioned already I'm going to be doing more of my stuff indoors now because it's too cold to be working outside and I don't have a heated garage. So one of the things I've got ahead of me is my interior trim panels. I've got the seats out right now at an upholstery shop, and he's going to be doing those in blue leather for me with in gray leather with the blue piping. And when I was talking to him about the trim pieces, he said he could save me a half a hide so I can do all of these other interior trims like the wheel arch trims and the trims around the back of the hatch. So I'm going to have to prepare those. I'm obviously going to have to create new panels out of masonite. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull out all of the little clips like this that are in here. I'm going to take off the existing trim, pull all the staples out, saving it as much as possible for patterning, and then first thing I'm going to have to do is try and flatten these because they have been exposed to so much moisture over the years that they're really buckled. You can kind of see how wavy they are. So I thought what I would try doing is just giving them a little bit of moisture and then putting things down on them to flatten them. See if that works. Leave them for a few days with weighted stuff on them. So that's what I'm about to do right now. Not terribly exciting. The other thing I have ahead of me is my dash. So I've got the dash in this bucket, all the instruments. This is from my Mark II, the stuff that you see here. This is my old Mark I and all of the dash components. I have a new piece of solid wood that I'm going to use. So I think, as I may have mentioned before, I'm going to go primarily with switches from the Mark I. I'm going to try and put it all in the Mark I configuration. I know it's not factory original, but I prefer the Mark I in many ways. And then I have my doors over here to take apart and redo the door cards, clean up the interior mechanisms and things like that. I haven't had a serious look at the condition of them, but pretty sure that they are very solid, even down along the bottom edges. So we'll see how those look when I get to them in a little while. Anyway, that's a little update. Thanks. Alright, this is just a little note, mostly for my own reference. So as I'm doing the driver's side panel right now. As I'm taking this apart, I'm seeing that there's the piping, which in this case is the same color red as the panel itself. But the piping goes around the wheel arch like this, but does not continue along the bottom here, and then goes from the back edge around the top, all the way around the top, and then down the front side. So this bottom edge here and this bottom edge here do not have the piping on them. So just a reminder, the guy that's doing the upholstery for me, in addition to keeping some large enough pieces to do the faces, is also going to be doing up some of the piping for me, just some lengths of piping so that I can recreate the original look. Alright, so I'm starting to get some of the vinyl cover off this driver's side arch panel, and as I was expecting, on the inside, on the outer face rather, just put underneath the vinyl, there's this thin foam. From what I've been reading about doing the reupholstery steps, that's to be expected, so I have to look for some of this. There is luckily a foam shop here in town, so I'll be able to find that out, I think, without any problem. So here we go, back to the job. Okay, so that experiment was actually fairly successful. So what I've done is I've taken the hardboard that is the backer for the trim pieces, and I just damped it down with some water in a spray bottle. And then I put some heavy things on it, in this case some batteries, some tins of paint and things like that, on this overnight. And it seems to have flattened out pretty nicely. Still a little bit of damp to it, still a little bit of buckling in some spots, but enough that I can use this to quite accurately trace out replacement pieces. So let's get some of this stuff off of here. Two hands. Alright, so yeah, again, not absolutely perfect, but a lot better than it was. And it'd be a lot better for tracing out the replacement pieces. So I will take apart the other one, give it the same treatment. Now these ones, these are, I don't exactly remember how these are oriented inside, but this seems to indicate that this is where the seatbelt comes through. Now on the inside of these, this backer piece is actually a thin piece of metal. And again, it's got a piece of foam on it. You can see that's quite a bit thicker than the other foam on the side panels. So I'll have to see if I can recreate that. The metal, I think, just some cleanup, mostly surface rust, pretty extensive surface rust, but mostly surface rust. And see what I can do to rebuild those. There we go. Alright, so this is what it looks like after the vinyl comes off. This is the inside face of this passenger side trim piece. You can see here's the bits of foam. It doesn't appear to have been stuck down. Oh, sorry, that was the washing machine. It doesn't appear to have been stuck down over the entire surface, just in a few strategic spots. And then looks like it got caught in the adhesive on some of the edges. When I was taking it apart, it appeared as if it was this upper edge that everything was first glued to and then pulled snug from there. And I say that because that appeared to be the shortest overlapping side, but it also is kind of the straightest long edge on this piece. So it would make sense when you're doing it, that would be the place to start. And then pull everything this way to get it all snug and even. Anyway, oh, and a little spider's nest. I don't know how the spiders got in underneath the foam, inside the vinyl. Anyway, a couple of those. No wonder those things are so devastating when they get inside the venturi tubes in your barbecue. That silk just is so tough. Anyway, stay on topic. Alright, I've done the side panels. There's one damped down and sitting under some heavy stuff. Try and flatten it out over there. So now I'm working on the panels at the back. This one's not going to be too bad. It's pretty much the same as the side panels. This one, however, is going to be a bit more challenging. This is the side with the fuel tank neck that comes up into the back section. So not a whole lot left on the other side of this. So that one's going to have to be a bit of guessing based on probably mirror imaging this side and then taking the cutout there for the neck of the fuel tank. Anyway, here we go. Alright, this is the metal panel. It goes under what somehow or another covers what I think is the seat belt feed through here. There's the piece of vinyl that came off of that. A few minutes ago I rather optimistically said that I thought that those would be recoverable, but they're pretty highly rusted. Lots of surface rust, and in some places, like in the corners, you can kind of see that they're eaten away like that. So might be better just to refabricate them. I mean, in general terms, they look fairly simple. They're just a relatively flat piece of sheet metal, but they have some kind of subtle curve to them. It's a little hard to see from that way, but if you look like this, you can see that's got some sort of curve to fit over something inside. I'm not sure exactly what. So recreating that subtle curve might be a little bit more of a challenge. So I think at the moment, until I get a little further on, I'm going to leave these. I'm not going to try taking any more of the rust off them for the moment. I'm kind of afraid that if I start doing that, they're just going to disintegrate. I'll leave it till maybe I'm working a little bit more closely on the interior. Right now, that's the tunnel cover. So there's the metal. That's in pretty good shape. It's a little bit of repair maybe to go on there in the front corners, but otherwise it's I think in better shape than those pieces from the seatbelt covers. And then this piece of vinyl, there's the foam only covers the top portion of the tunnel cover, so from about here to here, not the whole thing, so just at the top. And now the e-brake cover, and then just a quick note for the piping detail. You can see coming up like this, across to the back on both sides, and then the gaiter around the front of the back of the e-brake. And this is what it looks like on the inside. It's kind of a fiberboard flange holding the gaiter in place, and it looks like there's little clips here. Hard to tell on the screen, but right there seems to be a little metal clip folded over to hold it in place. So I have to be careful when I'm working around those. Okay, just taking the shroud for the e-brake cover apart, and a couple of little things to note, primarily for myself when I'm putting this back together, but maybe anybody else that might be interested. Again, the foam on this part, so along here, along the top, put this down so you can see the proper shape. The foam on the top of the e-brake cover is thicker, so that's about a ½ inch thick, and then the foam on the sides is much thinner, maybe 1/8 of an inch. And the other thing I wanted to make note of is, again, those little tabs on the inside that were holding the gaiter in place. Let's see if I can get a good shot of it. I think you can see those. Maybe not. So there's, right there under my thumb, for example, there's one of the tabs. Another one down here, one at the bottom, two along here at the side, and then another one up here at the top. Sorry about the lighting and the camera angles and all that stuff. There it is, you can see it there. And those, the vinyl, when it was in place, was glued down with cuts around it to go around the tabs, and then the tabs went through this kind of fiberboard skirt or flange that's stapled to the to the gator. I don't know how much sense that makes, but there it is. Some pictures. They're worth 1,000 words each. Hey everybody, it's the 6th of January. It's been a little while since I've done any kind of updates, so I thought I would just record a little bit today. I don't know how much I'm going to get done. With the cold weather, I've moved most of my work, well, any of my work that I'm doing indoors. And so what I've been working on a little bit is some of the trim pieces. If you watched some of my other videos, and thank you for those people that have, and I really appreciate that, you know that I've sent out my seats for reupholstering at a local shop that does some really nice work. About a month from now, I hope to get them back. Maybe about mid-February is what he said. Anyway, in the meantime, I'm prepping the interior panels because I'm also getting some of the extra leather to match the seats that I will do on the trim panels. Now, these trim panels have been out of the car for a while, just kind of sitting around in various less than optimal storage conditions, and so they were very, very warped when I got them uncovered. So I pulled off all of the existing vinyl and foam, and you might be able to see that they're kind of dished in various places. And they were very badly bent. So in order to try and flatten them out a bit so that I could cut out new pieces out of masonite, what I did is I just used a spray bottle of just plain water, and then with various things that I had around the basement, like a marine battery, just put them on this when it was damp, and then let it dry out. And that's actually taken the vast majority of the warpage out of these panels. So next thing I'm going to do is to just put them on a piece of new masonite and trace them out and get them cut, and then get them ready to cover. I'll have to find some foam, and if you watched some of Elon Yakov's videos when he is doing his 68 Triumph, I believe it is, or 66 Triumph, he was showing the foam that he used underneath the door panels. So I'm hoping to find some of that from a local supplier, and then to give them a little bit of texture. Anyway, that's it for this little update. I'll be back when I can. Alright, just a quick shot. I don't know if the lines show up very well in this light, but the patterns for the side panels have been traced, and get the jigsaw out next. Okay, so as a first pass, I'm just cutting these out, large of the lines so that I can do them again. I just use my handheld jigsaw. Next I'll break out the bandsaw, the little tabletop bandsaw, and I can cut the lines much more cleanly with that, with a bit more control. So we'll do that next to clean these up. Alright, I've got my bandsaw set up now. Gonna try and cut these nice to size, nice clean cut lines. Please ignore the bodged job on the vacuum hose here. I have adapters, but they're about 500 kilometers away from here at my cottage, so a little bit of duct tape should do the job. And here we go. Well, that's the two sides cut. You may have noticed the change in this partway through. I was completely finished cutting the first piece, before it occurred to me why it was being so difficult to follow the straight lines and the curves and everything. It's because I didn't have my bearing set down far enough and the blade was wandering all over the place, which I didn't realize until I completely finished the first piece. So anyway, top tip of the day when you're using your bandsaw, adjust your bearing.